How to enforce a breach of contract in Oklahoma County. We get many questions about how to enforce a breach of contract. Contracts form the foundation of countless business and personal transactions. Whether the agreement involves construction services, the sale of goods, employment arrangements, real estate, partnerships, or professional services, the parties generally expect each side to fulfill its promises. Unfortunately, disputes arise when one party fails to perform as agreed. When that happens, Oklahoma law provides several remedies that may allow the injured party to enforce the contract and recover damages. Determine whether a valid contract exists. Before a court can enforce a breach of contract, there must first be a valid and enforceable agreement. In Oklahoma, a contract generally requires competent parties, mutual consent, a lawful object, and sufficient consideration. Some agreements must also be in writing to be enforceable under Oklahoma's statute of frauds. Many contract disputes begin with disagreements over what the parties actually agreed to do. For that reason, gathering all written agreements, emails, text messages, invoices, purchase orders, and related documents is often one of the first steps in evaluating a claim. The stronger the evidence establishing the existence and terms of the agreement, the easier it generally becomes to pursue enforcement. Identify the breach. Not every disagreement constitutes a breach of contract. The injured party must generally show that the other side failed to perform a material obligation required by the agreement. Common examples include failure to pay for goods or services, failure to complete construction work, failure to deliver products, failure to perform contracted services, violation of non-compete or confidentiality provisions, and failure to meet contractual deadlines. The specific language of the contract often determines whether a breach has occurred and what remedies may be available. Preserve evidence of damages. In most breach of contract cases, proving the breach alone is not enough. The plaintiff must also establish damages resulting from the breach. Depending on the circumstances, damages may include unpaid invoices, lost profits, additional costs incurred because of the breach, repair expenses, replacement costs, and consequential damages allowed by law. Maintaining detailed records of financial losses can significantly strengthen a contract claim. Courts generally prefer documented evidence over estimates or unsupported assumptions. Consider sending a demand letter. Before filing a lawsuit, many parties attempt to resolve the dispute through a formal demand letter. A demand letter typically identifies the contract, explains the breach, outlines the damages suffered, and requests that the other party correct the problem within a specified period of time. In some situations, a demand letter successfully resolves the dispute without litigation. Even when it does not, the letter may later serve as evidence that the breaching party received notice of the claim and was given an opportunity to cure the breach. For businesses, early resolution is often preferable to the expense and uncertainty of litigation. Filing a lawsuit. If informal resolution efforts fail, the injured party may file a breach of contract lawsuit in the appropriate Oklahoma court. The petition generally identifies the parties, the existence of the contract, the relevant contract terms, the breach, the resulting damages, and the relief requested from the court. Once the lawsuit is filed and served, the defendant has an opportunity to respond and assert any defenses. Contract litigation often proceeds through discovery, motion practice, settlement negotiations, and potentially a trial. Possible remedies available. Oklahoma courts may award various remedies depending on the nature of the dispute. The most common remedy is monetary damages designed to place the injured party in the position they would have occupied had the contract been performed. In some circumstances, additional remedies may be available, including specific performance, declaratory relief, injunctive relief, and recovery of attorney fees where authorized by contract or statute. The appropriate remedy depends heavily on the nature of the agreement and the type of breach involved. Be aware of time limits. Contract claims are subject to statutes of limitation. Waiting too long to pursue a claim can result in the loss of valuable legal rights. The applicable deadline depends upon factors such as whether the contract was written or oral and the nature of the claim being asserted. Because determining the correct limitations period can be complicated, individuals and businesses should seek legal advice promptly after discovering a breach. Business contract disputes often involve additional issues. In Oklahoma County, many contract disputes arise in the business context. These cases may involve partnership agreements, operating agreements, purchase agreements, vendor contracts, construction contracts, employment agreements, or commercial leases. Business disputes often require analysis of financial records, corporate documents, industry standards, damage calculations, and contract interpretation. The complexity of these cases frequently increases as the amount in controversy grows. Oklahoma County business lawyers. Trying to enforce a breach of contract often appears straightforward at first, but can quickly become complicated. Questions involving contract interpretation, damages, mitigation, attorney fees, and available remedies frequently determine whether a claim succeeds or fails. Because a breach of contract can result in significant financial losses, individuals and businesses should consult with an experienced Oklahoma contract litigation attorney as soon as possible after a dispute arises. Contact an Oklahoma City business law attorney that you can count on.
For a free consultation with the Kania Law, OKC attorneys, call 4053-678710.